And peace to the God.
Peace.
Indeed. Yes, sir.
So I wanted to start things off. I wanted to address what the guy Ramel was saying last week. Now, of course I can't speak for all Muslim gods, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna speak for myself, and if it applied, then we let it go. So it's like this, like, let's say, like the 5% nation of gods and herbs is in the penal system, right? And they're labeled a gang by the media or, by the prison systems or what have you. So that's like a narrative. You know what I mean? We all know and understand that the nation of gods and herbs is not a gang. You know what I mean? So no one wants to be identified by narratives. You know what I mean? You want to give it to a person raw, raw truth, straight. So it was something you were saying last week was that, or you didn't use these exact words, but it was almost like like the Muslim gods want to hijack the nation of gods and herbs, steal the slang, steal the flag, and utilize the terminology that we came along later. So what I wanted to say to you and to all the gods and herbs is that, the Muslim gods are not, we're not jacking the NGE or the 5% Nation of Islam. Most of us that consider ourselves or call ourselves Muslim gods, we have a history. Most of us got knowledge of self under the Father, in the firstborns. Like that's how we got born into the knowledge of self. Most. I didn't particularly come that way, but most do. So it's not like we jacking it. It's a part of our DNA. So when you see us saying things like, let's build or peace God, or it's because it's a natural thing to us because that's how we got the knowledge. That's not all Muslims, but a fraction of us, those that came up in cities where the gods, were prevalent or what have you. So the narrative is like, the gods talk to us like we're foreign, like we foreigners. You know what I'm saying? We're not foreigners. Most of us just went and joined the nation. Like you got many guys that go and join the white man's army. Like, and they don't say, yo, you forfeit your citizenship in the nation of gods and earths because you go join the army. You know what I mean? So in the nation, this is God's army, the military structure. You see what I'm saying? Mind you, some of the ideology may change, granted, and that's probably your point, was that there's a change in certain understandings of the teachings, right? And that's true. I won't deny that, but that doesn't mean that we don't come from the nation of gods and herbs and that we don't see y'all as family. You see what I'm saying? Because we do. And as a matter of fact, we get flack within the nation. Those of us that came that way, sometimes we get flack, by our Muslim brothers that didn't get the knowledge of self in that way. You know what I mean? That's the truth of the matter. So I wanted to say that we're not in competition with you. We're not in opposition with you. You know what I mean? At all. Like, so I'm going to make this brief and I'm going to get off and let another guy get on. But what I wanted to say is one of the things that we all appreciate about the Father, right, about Allah, is that he went out into the streets and he got a segment of the population that the Muslims couldn't retrieve. You see what I'm saying? For whatever reason. Now, I'm not saying that the Nation of Islam didn't get youth, because they did get youth in Harlem and abroad. You know what I mean? They got convicts, they got hardened criminals, all of the stuff that the guys do. And as far as attracting the people, the nation did too. But there's a segment that the nation couldn't get for whatever reason, I don't want to label make up no reasons, but the point is the Father was able to reach them with the system that he put in place. You know what I mean? So we're thankful for that. So me as a youth, I didn't get the knowledge of self from the Father. I got the knowledge of self from the mosque first in '88, but I was 13. You know what I mean? Minister Qadir Muhammad Mosque number 25 woke me up out of my grave. But I was too young, of course, to join the mosque. So as a teenager, I went amongst the guys and started to learn from them because I felt stagnated and I felt that I needed to grow more. So I went amongst the gods, and I really didn't know the differences, because in my town, from Paterson, New Jersey, like our town was flooded with gods in the early 80s, like even before Rakim came out and hip hop grabbed it per se. Like my town was flooded with gods already from top to bottom. So when I went amongst the gods and started to study, and then I began to see the differences in terms of what we think. And I even witnessed the NOI kind of anti-NOI climate somewhat happen. This was in the 90s when I came around, like the mid 90s, like 93, 94, 95, 96, like around that time. So So I just wanted to say that we appreciate the gods and earths for getting the segment, because this is all about waking the dead. That's what this is about, and about getting our people closer to righteousness, whether we agree 100% or not. So just because we disagree with some of the gods and their understanding don't mean we're not family. I don't agree with everything with every brother or sister in the mosque. Like sometimes we have debates in the mosque amongst each other regarding the teachings and how we understand it. But we don't, just start to have hatred for one another or feel that, we foreigners to one another. We just, differ with understanding. You see what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I wanted to say to you is like, every time I see the gods speak on the Muslim gods, they speak in that capacity. And I just wanted to address that and correct that. You know what I mean? We not in competition with y'all. Whoever, I put it to you like this. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, when he rebuilt the nation, right, he allowed Ward of Deen Muhammad to come amongst his believers, the Farrakhan believers, the followers, and teach. And the minister said, whoever go with you, you can have them. That's what he said, because that's the truth of life. Whoever go with you, they yours. Whoever don't, they don't. So that's how I see the NGE. That's how I see the Muslim gods. Like we are our type of science and approach to the teachings would attract a certain mind. And you know what I mean? We would get them. Yeah. I don't want to say, I don't know, as far as the nation, 5% Nation of Islam or Allah's sons, you're going to reach out and you're going to attract a certain mind. But together, we're going to mop up the wilderness. You know what I mean? And that's really what it's all about. It's not about, fighting one another and arguing, for what? Like we both performing the task, of attracting the minds of the people. You know what I mean? And that it's as simple as that. So I just wanted to say that to clarify in terms of us speaking for ourselves and not, going by a narrative, created by whomever. I don't know who created that narrative, but this is the reality of most Muslim gods that come in the nation. You know what I mean? Not all. Some of them didn't come through the NGE, you know what I mean? But most of us did like that. So, you know what I mean? I just wanted to say that to you. Like, I may not use the language all the time, but there are things that's embedded in me that I just may say naturally. Or sometimes I just may speak the language, you know what I mean, just as, as a tribute to the gods. You know what I mean? When I'm around them. Like, but I'm not faking. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I don't aspire or say, I want to be like Ramel, or I want to be like Allah. I want to be like the firstborns. Nah, I be myself. You know what I mean? But if I do use a language, it's like I said, it come natural, or it may just be a tribute to speak the language. It's kind of like when you see you see a foreigner and you say something to them just to like make them feel comfortable or good by saying something from their culture. You know what I mean? Whether it's a Haitian person or a Latino person or, a person from the Caribbean or what have you. You know what I mean? It's like that, but it's not, a fake thing. But I just wanted to start off saying that. And if, you want to address anything or, go to another topic or what have you, you could. But I just wanted to say that to you.
Okay,
Yes,
I appreciate that, brother. Yes, sir. And I understood everything you said. I would like to address that. Okay. I want to start with the thing what you said first about jail and, the penal institution and being associated with a street gang and things of that nature. Now, the father never wanted that for the 5%. He would say things like, son, you no good to me in jail. He wanted you out in the free world getting a professional or trade or education, going to get that knowledge and bring it back to your nation and to your family. You no good to me in jail. So when he did go to the prisons to speak to the young men that was already in trouble, they was in Otisville, and he was telling them you wouldn't be here if you didn't do nothing wrong. So you got to go under their laws. So you don't really got no freedom in jail. You know, you might call yourself freedom or universal, but when they say lights out, lights out. You know what I'm saying? So you even when you get out, you're on parole, and another man got to tell you what time to be in. So you under his laws because you did something wrong, and you wouldn't be there if you hadn't done nothing wrong. So a lot of times people are convicted of things they didn't do, but at the same time, that mentality has to be attacked that this was a jail thing. See, when I got this, it was like I was the youngest 5% I knew. When I knew 120, I didn't know another person my age who had 120. You know, I just turned to the double digits. You know, so when we say who are the 5%, it's already been established that we're talking about the 5% nation. Now, it might be other people who say, well, that's us, but they never took that off the paper and made it walk and talk and coined the name. And that's what I was getting at then. So when I see brothers saying that they are the 5%, but what they mean is they respect, they give a tribute and an honor. I'm flattered that brothers are trying to learn and do like us now and say things like, yo, I acknowledge your bill or peace to the gods and use the jargon and the language. I'm flattered that brothers are doing that now, because when the law was forming the 5% nation, a lot of brothers didn't want nothing to do with it. And it wasn't that he was anti-Islam. They was anti-law. They was anti the father and what he was doing. And when I spoke to brothers on the phone, I felt the same disgust for what the father did or what he didn't do. Like the one brother said, he should have got the problem book and took that with him. Or it was law and protocol, but he disobeyed it. So, you know, and another brother say, you know, he was a baby. He didn't know that much. You know, he shouldn't have did this. He shouldn't have did that. He shouldn't have allowed this. He shouldn't have allowed that. So I see the dissatisfaction with the man by the same people who saying that they 5%ers. That's where the confusion comes in at to the masses, because you got brothers who will wear the universal flag, but they already chose a said nation other than the 5% nation. So once you go to a said nation other than, you kind of denounce that. You say that this was a stepping stone, but you found something greater. Otherwise, you would still be with us, right? Now, if you say, oh, you want to do both, that's going to be pretty hard, because you're going to Savior's Day while we got our universal parliament or the Father's physical celebration or this, that, and the third. You won't be as active in both nations. So you will be viewed as a double thinker, you know, and also, even though I know a lot of brothers are not, but you'd be like you masquerading as a 5%, because we don't have sex. So it's not like this. The closest thing we had was Robert Walker and his firstborn Muslims, and they had their own flag. You know, they had their own names, Al Hazarad and this stuff. They had names like, you know, Infinite, this, that, and their names were different. They did a prayer and stuff like that. They wore turbans. They had a different flag. So even though they might be aligned, but it was only one 5% nation. Now, all the documents prove who that 5% nation was. Now, when you join on to something, I don't know about y'all, but the first thing I want to do is I want to know where this came from. And I want to know the first group of people who received it. I investigate. So the problem with being around a city with flooded with guards is you getting it all from another brother. And I don't know if you ever met anybody who got it from the horse's mouth, but it's a difference in their bill than getting it from another brother. You can hear the difference in their bill. And when you get a bunch of them that got it from the father together, now you can really piece together certain things. When you get it from another brother, some of them are mixing with Zulu Nation. Some of them are mixing with Pan-Africanism. Some of them was Black Panthers, and they want to mix that revolutionary stuff with it. The father wasn't about none of that. So what I wanted to do was to stress the purity of keeping it pure as the man planted his seed. And a lot of times people will confuse that. And they would say, well, it's the same lessons from the mosque, so we're saying the same thing. But it's kind of contrary when, you know, brothers will say, it says that in the lessons, so we knew that we was God. But when you manifest it to the people, you say, we are becoming gods. He's here to make us into gods. Or we have a piece of God in us. Or I'm God little g. And certain things that we don't teach. So if you're saying you the 5%er, you the 5%, and you got on a universal flag made by a universal sham God, and you're using the jargon and the language, I knowledge your bill, I don't mean to cut your wisdom, and the language that we use, and you doing all those things, but you're saying, nah, I don't agree with what the farmer did, or I don't agree with what they teach. You basically a glorified Muslim, and especially when you tell people, if I say I want to be a 5%er and I came to you because you told me you was a 5%er, but you send me to the mosque instead of sending me to the school, automatically I'm gonna be like, wait a minute. I came in here wanting to be a 5%er. And now it's okay for brothers to come. I seen brothers come to the rally, and like you said earlier, if they got anybody, they recruited anybody, you go right ahead and leave with that Moor, that Muslim, whatever, because the father didn't fight for you if you wanted to go somewhere else. You go right ahead. It wasn't his to begin with. So he never stopped that. But you're going to come on our grounds to the rally and try to recruit? That's kind of a slap in the face. You catch a brother in the street, you pull his coattail, you see him every day. Yeah, I know about that stuff, brother, but let me hit you with this. It's a little different than you saying, I'm the same thing as you. But I don't think the father, what he did was right. These are for registered Muslims only. He should have gave it to them kids. He should have did this. He should have did that. And, you're basically anti-father, anti what we teach, but you're using little bits and pieces of it, which is what we are accused of doing. Cherry picking the best parts of what we want to hear and adding it to our cipher like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing that a lot of Muslims didn't like us because it was
Can I interject, God? Because you adding a whole bunch of points. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like what I said, you didn't absorb or, process. You glossed over it. Like,
maybe I was
so you still speaking as if, we foreigners, like we got like we came in the Nation of Islam and then came amongst y'all. Like, that's how you reiterated the same bill. I'm saying to you now, God, we got this by being amongst the gods. You know what I'm saying? Going to the rallies, going to the parliaments, just like you. You know what I mean? So we not foreigners, y'all, but you speaking to us like that. You see what I'm saying?
Let me reiterate, because I said brothers might have started out as a 5%er, but once you go to said nations other than the 5%, you kind of denounce the 5%. So now you're in the mosque and you taking your orders from a captain and things like that. Right now, if you come back and say you a 5%er still, I'm not saying you a foreigner, but you chose a said nation other than. So you chose a different flag. It's not the same flag. It's not the same. All the teachers are not the same. We got the lessons, but it's not a lot of things that are the same. So when you say I joined the mosque, you go to, I don't know, I've been in the mosque. I was invited by assistant minister. And I said, I'm not doing that. Let me go up in here. I ain't going to try to come up there to bomb nobody and tell nobody who I am or none of that. But I had a flag on. And I was not welcome, brother. My experience was, this ain't the same thing, right? This ain't the same thing, right? And I was like, whoa, brother. Brothers had red eyes and veins popping out their neck.
Yes,
I'm just telling you my experience, right? So it ain't like they're foreigners to the teachers, because the mosque was full of people who was 5%ers. But once you come into another man's house, you're not coming to try to move no furniture in his house. And they automatically, I feel, sensed it as a threat. So likely it's the same thing. I'm not a foreigner, no stranger to the teachers of the Nation of Islam, because I was raised by M.G.C. When Dora Smith, the father's wife funeral, Raquel was there, Minister Hafiz was there, there was a bunch of guards there in the nation, and it was a bunch of Muslims at Fawad there, and I did Al-Fatiha in Arabic. And a lot of brothers was upset with me that I knew it, but that's what she did every time we ate over there. And when the father ate over there, that was the order of the day. So he wasn't anti-Muslim, so I didn't come in there on no stuff like that, but it's been a lot of thickness in the air, so tense you could cut it with a knife between the two, because you had a lot of young brothers trying to go up to a brother selling newspaper, and he might not have the student enrollment, and they might challenge him, or they might catch a young brother with a cigarette in his hand, quoting the lessons and be like, yo, those are our lessons, brother. You can't be in here and you out here smoking and doing that and talking about that, So it was conflict. between the two. So that's why people will view it as foreigners, because you kind of denounce it when you go somewhere else.
Can I address that?
Please.
So this is like the issues that I have. I want for one, it's different factions or different thought processes, I should say, in the nation, right? So some of the lieutenants, maybe the officers, and maybe the believers of Temple Number 7 may have felt a way about the father taking the teachings and disseminating it to the youth, right? Because he broke protocol, right? So naturally, some of them felt the way about it, and his understanding of it slightly different too. See, so the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teach that we are God. The black man is God, like our nature. He says that, you know, by nature we are God, but he said because we went through slavery, we was broken all the way down. So that's why you may hear the term as like we're growing into gods, because we haven't reached our full godhood as of now. See, and when you talk about the history of Islam, there are abilities and innate abilities within that we had, that we once had, that we don't exercise right now. You're growing into it. So that's why we use that language, not that we not God. But if you talk about a hierarchy and you saying that, yeah, we see one God as supreme over others, yes, we do teach that, but that's no different than what you're saying to me. Like, the problem that I have is that the gods will say that they're not religious, right? And they'll rub that in your face. Say, yeah, we're not religious, but you actually repeat in the same setup as the mosque. You see what I'm saying? When you talk about it in that way. So before I say that, I want to say the most honorable Elijah Muhammad appreciated the father in terms of him taking the lessons and giving it to the youth, because I'm sure you're aware the minister asked him about it, because they was growing so large in New York City by the time he came back from Boston, like the gods began to grow. So he went to the messenger and asked him, and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, it's good that the youth are studying the questions and answers, my answers to the lessons. So not everybody in the nation was against the father and against the idea. So the very head of the organization, you know, said it was a good thing. You see, I just want to say that to you, because we don't want to just highlight one truth and ignore another truth. Both are true. You see what I'm saying? But that's important to know that. Secondly, like what I'm saying is, the father is saying that we are all God equally, right? We're all God equally, but then he starts a nation. So now he's saying we're all God equally, but now you're telling me that my understanding has to line up with his. You telling me that I can't be a 5%er if I don't think exactly like the father, but you telling me that we all God. You saying that it's not a religion, that it's a culture, right? And that it's a nation. So you telling you in one breath you saying that, but in the next breath you saying, yo, if you think in a parameter outside of what the father taught, then you not us. You see, so my point of contention to those that say that is, you can't have both ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't say I could be the God of my own universe, but I can't think I could only teach what the father taught. If I want to teach you on how to eat to live or something, that's beyond the scope of the father. So you ain't with us. You ain't with this. You see what I'm saying? Like, Islam is a whole world. It's literally a universe itself. So just because the father decided to teach his sons a certain aspect of it, don't mean that everybody else should be limited to that under that study. Like, we don't even think that he was talking to teenagers. Like, maybe he was waiting to go into other sciences of Islam and didn't get a chance to, because he was incarcerated in Mattawan and Bellevue, and then he came out and shortly died. But all of those guys were very young. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know if he would have went into other ciphers that exist. You know what I mean? So that's my point. I'm saying to you, like, now all of us are older men. You know what I mean? We in our 30s, we in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Like, you see what I'm saying? They may want to branch out and learn other aspects of it. But you saying they can't do it just because the father didn't do it, but the father had a short term time amongst the only 5 years, 6 years, and then that 6 years was divvied up because, like I said, he was incarcerated. You see what I'm saying? So that's the thing, is like you looking at it as a threat. You know what I mean? Oh, you wearing the flag. I'm saying, nah, God, we your brothers, just like you are brothers. And those that you get, those you get, and we all doing this together. We got a big fishing net to wake the dead. You see what I'm saying? So that's my point. I'm saying to you is you looking at it as disrespect if you go to the parliament and give your understanding. Nah, this is my understanding. You know what I mean? And those that share my understanding, you know what I mean, they'll vibe with it. And those that don't, they won't. You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that. It don't mean you starting up a sect per se. You know what I mean? That's natural to life. Just like you're going to have some guys attracted to a firstborn or elder wisdom more than another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, people going to vibrate on frequencies. Like-minded people going to get with like-minded people. That's just going to happen naturally. It's going to happen in the mosque. It happen in the nation of God's earth. Happen in any situation or culture on earth. You see what I'm saying? So that's my point. I'm saying to use like the narrative of how you sciencing up the whole thing is in your own mind. You know what I mean? You saying it like this, we foreigners, or because the father taught it a certain way that all the Muslims was against him. And now, like, we didn't come that way. Most of us are young. We wasn't even born when the father was doing that. Most of us nowadays. So we not coming at it like that. You holding us to something that happened in the 60s. You see what I'm saying? I'm told you most of us got the knowledge of self from the father, from the firstborn, from the elders. So we ain't on it like that. You may have some people in the nation that feel that way, that didn't come up against, amongst the gods, and they may feel a way. And that's true too. That's why I said to you, we get flack like that too. You see what I'm saying about them? Say again, I'm sorry.
No, I thought you was done so I could address that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying that to you. Like, it's true what you're saying, but the other part I'm saying is also true. You see what I'm saying? That's it.
All right, so check this out, right? Let's do it like this. Now, first of all, the Muslims that was against them doing what he was doing, I'm not just talking about the old and some of the brothers in the mosque today. You know what I'm saying? When you say, oh, I can't come there and give my understanding, when your understanding is really under the tutelage of the minister and in line with the teachings of the Nation of Islam that the father came from, right? What he was doing in there wasn't accepted, obviously. When he was saying what he was saying in there, trying to teach that in there, they accepted him not. So when he came to the streets and gave it to the young, a lot of people also was still upset. Because now they looked at it as you plagiarizing, or you're stealing. This is our property. This is supposed to be for registered members only, and things like that. So that still lasts to this day. So even though you might have came up in this and you might have been exposed to this first, once you go to the Nation of Islam, you adhere and submit to that ideology. You write your letter to another master to ask for a name. You know what I'm saying? As far as nobody was worshiping the father. Nobody wanted to worship. He didn't want nobody to worship him. So when you say that it was all the same thing, it's basically not, because we don't teach that little g getting to become God. We don't teach that the woman is God. The father never said all of you are equally God. Like you said, he said, never is the woman God. And he did teach how to eat to live. I don't know if you know that. He taught that. So it wasn't like it was certain things that he didn't teach, like, maybe the problem book and certain other things that even wasn't readily available in book form back then. You could get it from the Department of Supreme Wisdom, but a lot of that stuff wasn't even in book form for him to get from the mosque to give us and stuff like that. Like the lessons, he didn't give us his copy of Supreme Wisdom. The brother was giving stuff from word of mouth, and he was teaching people that was illiterate. Some of them couldn't even read or write. When he got through with them, they was going to Urban League. Then they went from there to Harlem Prep and then college, right? So he was changing lives and doing things good with these lessons. And even though he did that, it was a lot of brothers that hated him. And I'm not talking about just back then. To this day, Like I was just on the phone with these two brothers yesterday, right? These two brothers that's on the line right now. And they said they discussed with what the father did or the way he did it. So it's not the brothers that's in the mosque. Everybody that's in the mosque ain't saying the same thing. It's the ones who say that they us, but they don't teach how we teach. Now that is what causes the confusion. It's not just if I say I'm FOI, more power to you. That's the greatest you could be. Now, why would you still want to come back and say, "Oh, but I'm a 5%er too"? If you already chose to be that, because most FOI
can I say something? You repeating yourself. You repeating yourself, but you're not addressing what I said. I said you can't say you the God of your own universe and that we all God, and then tell me I got to do whatever the Father do, or I got to do whatever a firstborn do, or think however a firstborn think. This is my point. I want you to address that, not reiterate what's already known.
Let me address that. And if you was listening, I was going to get to that too. But I got a whole bunch of points. All right. Now let's check this out.
We short on time.
Okay, so look at this. If you're a 5%er, and the founder of the 5% Nation is the father, you can't not listen to anything that he said if he's the foundation of what this is. I'm not saying you can't disagree, this, that, and the third, but you should know what the man said.
You are saying that, God. You are saying you can't. You saying you can't disagree with him. That's exactly what you're saying.
You can go anywhere you want. Nobody told you what you can't study. You run and say, don't study this, don't study that. You can go anywhere you want with this. But if you call yourself a 5%er, that's those who agree. We are the ones who agree. We have some that agree and some that disagree. We have some that satisfy, some are dissatisfied. The 5%ers are in cahoots with agreeing and being satisfied. This is how we build on things. If I come from a unlike mind state where I don't agree and don't accept it, how could I call myself you? I'm not you. I'm me.
God, you contradicting yourself right now. You don't realize it. You know what I mean? But you contradicting yourself right now.
Well, show me the contradiction. I'll be quiet for a second.
Go ahead, show me the contradiction. You saying that you don't have to agree, right? But you could be a 5%er. So the Muslim gods is saying they don't agree exactly with what everyone is saying in the NGE.
I said you can't. If you don't agree, you can't be a 5%er because the 5%ers are the ones who agree. You can't.
You just said you don't have. That's my point. You just said you don't have to agree, God.
If you don't agree, you're not us.
Yeah, you saying that now, but a few seconds ago you said you can disagree and still be in the NGE, in the 5% Nation. That's what you said.
You want to rewind the tape, brother? I said if you don't agree, you can't be a 5%er because we are the ones who agree. We are the ones who are satisfied with it, and it's dissatisfied or satisfied. It might sound like I said you can be a 5%er, but I said can't. If you don't agree, how you can be in disagreement with brothers and call yourself them? It's one mind. It's supposed to be of like minds.
I understand that. I understand that point. I understand that clearly in terms of the Nation of Islam and its structure, right? But I addressed that already. I said the gods are infamous, right? Infamous and famous for saying I'm the God of my own universe, right? You can't tell me this, that, or the third because I'm the God of my universe, right? And that we all God. Maybe I think the Father got it wrong. Exactly. Maybe I think he got something wrong, and I say I think it's right this way. Why do I have to do it that way if we all God equally? You telling me so? You Jesusifying the Father, you Jesusifying him and saying he's infallible and that he can't do no wrong or be off point on any aspect of life or these teachings. That's what you're saying. So you can't say we're a culture and we're not religious when you come at it that way. So this is what I'm saying to you. Like the gods, if you're going to come at it that way, you should say you're a religion. You know what I mean? And don't add that other conjecture or that other verbiage into the teachings. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a contradiction.
Brother Jihad, does a Muslim disagree with Master Farad and the message?
No, but we embrace that wholeheartedly. We don't dance around it. We don't say, you know what I mean, this it's a culture and that we the God. We don't say that. We say that it's a hierarchy. See, you say that you don't believe in the hierarchy, but you holding me to the Father. You saying I gotta align with the Father, but we all God equally. So
let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. First of all, I wanted to also address the father didn't die. He got assassinated. But we go from father to son. All right? Father to son, meaning a seed is a seed. And any child that want to see their father, all they got to do is look in the mirror. So that's where that comes in at. I'm his seed. I'm a seed that was born in his mind. Of course, I'm going to think what he say and say what he think and act like that. And if
I
anybody
come
else
from my father. I don't agree with everything my father tell me. My physical father. I don't agree with everything he say.
You know I'm not talking about your physical father. You agree with everything Farrakhan say, don't you?
I agree with everything Farrakhan say, yes.
He said, right? So we're not saying that, look, you got practicing Islam and then you got living Islam. It's two different things. Practicing Islam is the religious aspect of it. Living Islam is like natural, like father's a son, and you know what I'm saying? Like, say for instance, you got an apple, you an apple, your wife's an apple, and you have an orange, then that ain't your seed, right? So we're gonna be in tune with what our father said and not deny it, but we're gonna understand it and be able to show and prove it. Now, if somebody wants to challenge it, that's on them. Well, the problem is when you say that you are us, but you don't learn and do it and think like us, then that's going to cause confusion to the people who want to become us. Because if they go to you, you're not going to teach them what the teaching of the Father was. You're going to teach them what the teaching of the messenger was. And you're going to say, we should go under the minister and he's our leader.
No, God, like you don't have to reiterate that point. I understand the point that you're making because I'm up under that same point in the nation. What I'm saying to you is that Allah is our brother. He's our brother. He was in the temple of Islam like everyone else. He's our brother. You see what I'm saying? So you Jesusifying him. You telling me that he's that we all God equal. Is no big G's, little G's, right? That we all God. So that's what I'm saying. You can't have it both ways. You can. If he my brother, I could disagree with my brother. He's my brother. You saying we all gods?
For us, he's the prototype. And nobody else was saying that before to us.
I'm with you guys.
Nobody else was exercising that like we was exercising that until he exercised that. He got arrested for doing so. He went through the pains and the ass whipping in Manawan for doing so. So we're not going to act like that didn't happen and just say, well, you know what? I'm here now on the scene and I'm Allah. He didn't know better because, this, that, and third or whatever. No, we're going to see what he did because he was the prototype. That
but you justifying him to leave the temple. He did that. He said, Masfar Muhammad don't know better. Elijah Muhammad don't know better. So I'm going to do this. You saying it's all right when he do it. But if somebody do it to him, you know what I mean? And then it's now all of a sudden they out of the bounds of the nation. You know what I mean? You out of bounds now. Like,
that's the thing. He didn't leave. He was kicked out. When he got kicked out, he never went back. So there's difference between you saying you don't agree with it and you leave. That's different. But if I try
it ain't no difference, God. I don't care if he left, if he was written out, if he got suspended out. Like that's no point of contention. That don't even matter to what we talking about.
Let's do it like this then. Let's say Father saw something in there, and he tried to teach the brothers in there what he saw in the lessons, and they was like, "Nah, you can't do that here. Go do that somewhere else."
I'm not arguing that though, God. I'm not arguing that he threw him out. Like that's irrelevant to what we talking about.
Let me get to the point though. So now he leaves and starts his thing, right? After they kicked him out of there, he went to start his thing. For them to come from there where they kicked him out to his thing and try to recruit people or say that they this too. And you know that when he was trying to give it to you while he was with you, it was a problem. So now that he's on his own and he got his own thing going, now you got brothers saying that they both. Now you got them accepting that and saying that they in the same nation that kicked them out. You understand what I'm saying? It's a difference.
I don't want to like rehash, like keep going over the same point. Like we'll have to come back. I'll give you a chance to think on it and come back to it. You know what I mean? Because we're not saying the same thing. Like, and another thing is we look at the Nation of Islam as a totality. Like you look at it as a compartmentalized piece. Like, see what I'm saying? The Nation of Islam encompassed the whole planet. You know what I'm saying? The Nation of Islam is the whole entire planet itself and people that populate it. You looking at it as, with the Father, anybody that think exactly like the Father is this. And, you know what I mean? We don't see it like that because that's not how the lessons, give it to us. Only people that perceive it like that are those that want to perceive it like that and be, in a small knit group like that. You know what I mean? Like So we don't see it like that as Muslim God, because that's not what the lessons teach us. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying to you, like, yo, we are brothers, regardless of if we have a difference of understanding here. You know what I mean? Like I said to you, sometimes I argue and debate with brothers inside the mosque. Like that happens. The scientists disagree with one another, the 24 scientists. You know what I mean? People are going to disagree and have contention with different points. That's natural to life. But to say, you know, me, I'm banishing, and the reason why it's a critique there is I understand the principle of what you're saying. I think the principle is right, what you're saying, because I'm under that same principle. The part what I'm saying to you is where it's a problem or issue is because you're saying we're not a religion. You saying that the father is no big, you telling me he's a big G. You see what I'm saying? You first you telling me we brothers, we all guys equally. Then you saying, nah, he my big G. I got to think exactly like he. You see, that's what I'm saying to you. Like that part,
you're twisting up my words, brother. I said we don't teach that we little G's. We teach big G. So of course he's big G. I'm big G. We all big G. I'm not saying he's big G over me. We all big G.
You are saying that, God. That's my point. You saying it in one breath, but in the very next breath, you telling me that I gotta think like the Father. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, let's build on something else, God, because I don't want to like
okay, so let's build on this point. Because you said I
was gonna say the point too, real quick, about really just like, you know, and it's kind of like the same argument or same discussion with, you know, like with the flag situation, or, you know, like brothers would say, hey, you know, that's our flag. You know, like I think, you know, one day, you know, the guard Ramel said to me, like, yeah, you know, if you had your own flag and you had your own, you know, I'd be behind you 100%, because, you know, but how you gonna come with something that brothers already established and they already had that flag, and I'm like, bro, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, again, like the Nation of Islam it covers all things. The sun, moon, and stars covers all righteous people on the planet. So I'm like, it's my flag too, God. Now cipher. So I think it's just like little things like that. You know what I'm saying? I think is where it creates the divide, because like in their mind, it looks like, you know, we're taken from what the Father established, when in reality, we're only making more clear what the Father brought to the babies. Because we could agree, well, you may not agree with it, but most people who would agree that he didn't give it to us. You know what I mean? You know, again, like Brother Jihad just said, for out of those few years he was with us, he was away in Madawan, locked away for some years. He was, you know, his babies, you know, the 5%ers was out there on heroin, selling heroin, doing heroin while he was gone. So because he wasn't there to administer what was going on, a lot of different thoughts, a lot of different teachings, a lot of different ideologies and stuff like that came about. So basically, when a brother comes forth and says, well, I want to bring it back to the origin, and the origin is the lessons, and the authors of the lessons are Muslims. They're Muslim gods. Elijah Muhammad, Master Fard Muhammad. Once a person asserts that, it's almost like, no, you taking it somewhere else. But that's really taking it to the origin.
Okay, check this out. Now, first of all, like what the brother was saying about compartmentalizing the nation, it's the same thing when you think everybody was selling drugs and heroin and dope and things like that, right? Everybody wasn't doing that. And the Father was upset with the ones that did and called them bad seeds. And they paid what they want for it by doing time in jail, a lot of time in jail, you know. But at the same time, we're not going to the Nation of Islam and asking we're the national and saying that we the Nation of Islam. Because we know and understand that even though all black people are the Nation of Islam, you ask one of them, are they in the Nation of Islam? You know what you mean when you say that. We can't just play with words. Oh, we all black, so we all righteous, and righteous is Muslim. But you ask them, are they Muslim? Ask them, are they?
Let me say this to you. Let me say this to you, because I understand the point you're making, but there are many people that fall out of the Nation of Islam, right? You got registered members, right? And you got active members, inactive. So you got people that don't come to the mosque, that's not active. They don't pay charity. And they wear the flag. Nobody ain't going to say, yo, man, take it off. They wear FOI hat, is put it on their gear. You know what I mean? Nobody going to tell them, yo, you can't wear that because you ain't in the nation no more. Like, nobody tells them that.
I'm not talking about somebody that was with it. I'm not talking about somebody that was with it. Go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say what brother Jihad said, just to add on to what he said. That's right and exact. I was going to say the only time you probably would have conflict with an FOI if you got on a flag is if you out there selling crack on the corner, or you out there doing a bank robbery, or you out there doing something. So that's why the father didn't really
contrary
35% until he, the brother started getting in
trouble.
Hold
on. Y'all can't talk at the same time. It's getting choppy.
I keep getting interrupted. Okay. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but every time I start to talk,
I interrupted you. Go ahead.
But let me address some of these things. Because there's not a lot of time, right? And it's just not like that. You're talking about somebody who used to be a part of something, and they still adhere to the rules, but they're not in good standing, and they wearing that. No, I'm talking about somebody who's teaching completely contrary. Why would you want to wear Shamgar flag if you don't agree with nothing Shamgar said or the father said, and you don't agree that this was the truth, and you think that everybody should go under the tutelage of the minister and back to the mosque under the tutelage?
God, this what I mean when I say you creating narratives. We ain't teaching completely contrary to the father. You adding that narrative. I just said we may disagree, or we may teach something in the body, because Islam is a body of knowledge, right? The Asiatic calendar encapsulate the whole sun, moon, and stars. It's everything, the science of everything in life. The father dealt with a certain little branch of it. So some people may want to learn more aspect of Islam, because it's the entire globe of things. So we're not in contrary to him. We just may disagree. So the point I made about the flag is you're saying if an average ordinary Joe that never joined the mosque is wearing a flag or wearing the FOI hat. See, that's the narrative you creating. But I'm saying, God, we ain't like that. It ain't like, yo, we just watch y'all on television, be like, yo, look at Rakim, that guy's cool, and let me get a flag. We didn't come that way, God. We came up through the ranks like you. That's what I'm saying to you. You gotta put the right narrative in place. You create a narrative that's.
Let me put it in the scenario that you just said there, okay? Because I know I can't use comparison or analogies now. So if you come and you start with this nation,
you can use analogy. It just got to be an accurate one, God.
Can I talk though? Can I just explain myself a little bit?
You can. I'm just making it clear. You can use analogies. You just got to be an accurate one, not a narrative that you making up. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for saying that. Now, if you start out with this nation, you go join something else, right? So it's not abandoning what they saying. It's not saying that, oh, I'm not with them anymore. Because if I agree with them and it wasn't contrary, then I would be with them still. So if I saw something better or something that I could get more out of something else, right, that's not really the same exact thing. Now, for me to come back, say for instance, I joined the Nation of Islam, but then I go leave and I join the Rastafarians or the Israelites or something. Then I come back and wear my FOI pen because I was once one, always one. Like that sort of deal. But once I already married onto another nation, I'm no longer the same. It's no longer the same. So I already denounced that. So for me to come and grab one of those flags and say that I'm still this, it's not accepted amongst my people. When I go to the mosque, I'll go under Dr. Wesley. But when I go around the guards, I go under True Islam. You understand? It's two different things because you got a different name, you got different everything. It's the same.
Right. You got to stop creating these narratives, God. I'm saying
the same thing as you, brother. A Muslim going to a said nation of a thing.
God, we never denounced it. You look at the language you using. We ain't say, man, F the father, F the gods, F the flag. We ain't say that, God. You saying that.
Basically,
you see what I'm saying? Like that, but when we build, you build for understanding, not to win the argument.
So you see what I'm saying? When you leave something and go somewhere else, what are you saying to that place that you started at?
Let me explain. Let me try to explain it better.
You elevated past it. You got better. Or what would you say to the place that you're leaving versus to where you're going?
You saying we leaving, God? You saying that when guys go and join the military or they join they go to college and join a fraternity or some civic organization, it don't mean you left the gods. You just going to another cipher in terms of it and learning something new or some branch or something. It don't mean you denouncing it. Just like you got alumni that graduate from a university, they could come back. They could come
Okay.
back and be a part of the institution. Like
Let's do it like this.
saying,
Let's do it like this. Allah in the Five-Percent Nation is Allah, the Father. Allah in the Nation of Islam is Master Farad Muhammad. Master Farad Muhammad is W.F. Muhammad in the Five-Percent Nation. So that's the difference. Once you go to another nation, you are denouncing what they taught if you're saying that something different. When you write your letter, you're asking Master Farad for a name. You're saying that he's going to return one day and all these letters better be here. Not one better not be missing because he's going to come and read all those lessons. You write to Chicago for a name. We don't do that. So you are denouncing what we do to do what they do. And that's where the Father came from.
The 5% Nation of Islam is a culture, God. It's a culture. So we not denouncing and not leaving. You creating this narrative. It's a culture. You. This is what I'm trying to say. You saying that you're not a organization, you're not a religious structure, but you're doing it. You're saying it in one breath, but it's what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? You don't realize it because, you know what I'm saying? It's just like talking points, but you can't do that. If you saying like this is a culture, like, and is dealing with science. We just saying, yo, we learning something over here because Islam is the science of everything in life. Like, so when I read that in the lesson, I believe that is the science of everything in life. I don't say I gotta like only deal with 4 years of study that, you know, when the Father was around. You know what I mean? I may want to learn something else because we made the whole universe as ours, everything in it. You know what I mean? You talking about a little, right? You leaving us, and you know what I mean? This is what you have in your mind, God. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you the mind of a Muslim God because I'm one of them. And I'm saying, yo, I came up through the ranks of them. You know what I mean? I have love for the Father because he was able to reach an aspect of the population that the mosque couldn't reach. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. So it's value in that.
You tribute, you honor, you got love for, you appreciate, tribute, honor, and have love for him, right? But that's not who you adhere to as far as the teachings. You don't understand. You don't go to his understanding that he planted the seed into his 5% Nation. You do, however, bear witness to Master Farad. Like most Muslims will start off by saying, I bear witness there's no God but Allah who came in the person of Master Farad.
Oh, that's what you do?
I said that's what the Muslims do.
Right.
Muslims do. So once you leave the 5% Nation, you don't hear me starting the conversation in the name of Allah and justice. Allah, you justice. I come in. I don't do none of that, right? But it's a difference in what we teach. And if you leave one and go to the other, when you come back to the other, they're going to look at you like you got 5 heads because you already said you done went somewhere else and did things differently. What's so hard to understand about that? The definition of religion, right?
Look,
now that
it's almost, look at it like this. It's almost like when you look at the Muslim world, you know, they all have the star and the crescent. That's their symbol that they all go up under. That's their banner. But they all have the same Holy Qur'an, right? But they got different ideologies or different, you know, ways of expressing it. You know what I'm saying? Some on a higher level, some are on a lower level of their expression. It's like that with the 5%ers. You know what I'm saying? We're in your mind, you think that we're denouncing, you know what I'm saying, the Father because we're telling you that he had flaws. Just like we all have flaws. As newborns coming up into the knowledge, we all got flaws. The Father have flaws. The Father didn't have the knowledge for many years. He only had it for like 4 or 5 years. He was only amongst us for like what, 2, 3 years, if that. So we didn't get a lot of the information from him. However, the information that he was trying to convey to us or give to us, we know the source of it. It comes from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and it comes from Master Fard Muhammad. So because we understand and we know the source of it, what's the matter with us acknowledging the root and showing you what the root says without getting from, you know, brothers like yourself, oh, y'all are changing stuff, or y'all are denouncing, or we never denounce everything the Father said. I'm in agreement with. It's just the stuff that y'all put onto him about he changed this teaching or he did that. I would just not like to see proof of that. You know what I'm saying? Until I see proof of that, I can't really agree with that. But that's all we're saying. Nobody never denounced or changed anything. We just see that the Father was teaching on one level of Islam, and then we come teaching on another level of it. But it's the same Islam, freedom, justice, and equality. It's just we're taking it back to the root, to the beginning.
Can I say something, God? Let me say this one nugget. Like, to me, it's like this too. Like when the father left the temple, right? He left the temple. Sometimes, when he found the young 5%er out of control, he may say, yo, go to the mosque. Like I'm gonna disseminate you, go to the mosque. You may need that for your development. You see what I'm saying? We didn't say, oh, yo, you sending them over here? You sending them over here after you left? Like nobody, you know what I mean? Because the mission is to get the people, to get our people. You see what I'm saying? So we ain't looking at it like he's an enemy. He disagreed with some of the teachings of Farad and he left. You know what I mean? He sent some over there. Like us as Muslim guys, we may meet a student, he may not want to come into the mosque for whatever reason. We may send them over to a law school. You see what I'm saying? Like what's wrong? What's so crazy about that?
Well, first of all, I keep getting muted by the host, so I'm not able to interject like y'all able to interject.
No, that's not good, guy.
Am I lying? Am I lying?
No, you're not lying. They keep interrupting you, God. Let the God speak his wisdom, y'all.
Go ahead, God. Go ahead,
Let me just get mine off, because it's two of y'all. So y'all both saying the same thing, right? So let me say something, right? Let's say that the flaws of the father is what you acknowledge that the father have flaws, but you don't see no flaws in the minister, right? You'll place one above the other. That means you made a choice. You chose one above the other. So for me to go back to the other one who I already just now, basically, that's a form of denouncing. Because you might say, I don't disagree with everything the father did, but I might say he had his flaws and he wasn't. But you go to the minister and you don't see nothing wrong with it. Then that's your father then. Our father is the father. Your father is the minister. Basically, I know you mean he's also your brother and things like that, but you're one of his sons. Sons, the father. So that's why we go about it the way we go about it, and y'all go about it the way y'all go about it. Ain't nobody say you can't come. We do training even amongst a devil after he studied for a certain amount of time and clean himself up. So why wouldn't we do our Muslim brothers, right? Where the father never was anti-Muslim. That's why he would say, as a form of discipline to his 5%ers who was messing up, yeah, you should go to the mosque. Like, cool. He said everybody must be healthy, strong, and good breeders. If not, he sent them to the mosque. If they wasn't healthy, strong, and good breeders, that was his way. He said back there. He said that it's better than going to the Christian church. It's better than being an 85%, but it ain't being here. He kicked them out of there, basically, by saying go back there. And if you chose to come back, you were welcome back with open arms. But once you go back, you had already experienced the way they do things on that side, which is different. That's all I wanted to say. I want to hear Brother Jabbar, before we leave, bro, because I got to go to work.
Yes, sir.
Speak to the God, man. Y'all this is a beautiful bill, man. I don't even feel I really need interject and say nothing, because all y'all making some good points, but you already know the God Jihad is really going hard, and you ducking a lot of his points of contention. I see that, God. But my thing is, just like we saying, even dealing with the 5%ers, bro. Some might believe that the black woman is not God. But you might have some 5%ers that believe that the black woman is God, because they studying the teaching from the understanding and interpretation of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So what y'all gonna do about those gods? Because y'all say, oh, you not no 5%. You know, because the father told this right here. But the source of the teachings come from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So the brother pretty much saying that, dealing with y'all classing yourself as not being a religion, but y'all following the same protocol that we follow. Because I understand that it's going to line up with what Master Farad Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say. So but when the gods understanding don't line up with what y'all say the father teach, then y'all want to out the God.
Well, he out himself when he says, if he says the black woman is God or anything that the Nation of Islam teaches, then he's coming with that mentality. Even though he might masquerade as a 5%er, it's rooted in the Nation of Islam's teachings. Meaning it's the difference between the largest nation and the farthest nation. Like I mentioned on the last conversation, certain things wasn't accepted in the mosque that was accepted in the 5% nation. So it's certain things that the founder of the 5% nation did differently. Everything he did wasn't exactly like what he did what they do in the mosque. Otherwise, he would have never left, or it would have been accepted, while he was still in there. But no, they kicked him out for saying certain things, doing certain things. So when he came and started, what's funny?
You
said
rehashing the same point. You've been repeating the same point the whole night.
Obviously, somebody needs to hear it again. Obviously, somebody needs to hear it again. I don't see that as a laughing matter. I'm just explaining it further.
But the God they son said that he won't prove for everything that y'all putting off on the Father, because once you get down to the history and you get the facts, he was exited out of the temple for other reasons that y'all don't want to own up to.
Okay,
and this is first and second hand knowledge.
And what reasons was that?
Captain Yusuf, I'm gonna send you the video. I'm not gonna say it live on him. I'm gonna send you the video where the brother said he asked the captain himself why was he put out of the temple, and he told him.
I was raised by his wife. I think she ought to know.
I understand that. I understand that the God put me down on your history, so I understand that. But I'm saying, what were you saying that they put him out for ideological reasons or theological reasons?
Yeah, that was part of it too. He was teaching that he was Allah in there, and brothers wasn't with that.
Why would they put him out for teaching that he was Allah when that is the teaching? The teaching is that the black man is Allah, bro. Why would they put him out for something that we actually teach?
He said Farad wasn't an Asiatic black man. He was Allah. You understand? I wasn't the one to put him out.
What did the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teach us about Master Farad Muhammad's lineage?
Okay, let's do it like this. What is the word
answer that question first, and then we're gonna do it like you want to do.
He came looking like both because he had to bring judgment to both.
Now I said, what did he say about his lineage? What is his ethnic background? What did he say about his lineage? Is he of the original nation?
Nah.
I know the term half original. On that point. He called him half original plenty of times.
I agree with Ramel on that point. The father did teach something that was slightly different in terms of saying that he equal to Master Farad. That part, you're right in terms of bar and saying that the teachings say that we all Allah. That is the teaching. We all God, but we say it's one greater than the rest. And the father didn't teach that. So that's what Ramel's saying was different, that he might have got shunned for. You know what I mean? Which I could agree with that. That's, you know what I mean? That sound about right.
I didn't know he taught that.
Yeah, that's what Ramel's saying.
There's a lot that you might not know because of the people that he was teaching. A lot of y'all was around 5%ers, which I wasn't around the ones that the father taught. So they got it from a brother who got it from a brother who got it from another brother, and a lot of it got distorted. So now you get the pleasure of building with some of the firstborns who wasn't nice guys and wasn't pleasant to be around with.
So you saying, let me ask this, bro, Ramel. So you ascribe to that ideology that all of us are God equally, and there's no one God who is supreme over all. You subscribe to that?
I know for a fact that we're not all God equally.
So if we're not all God equally, what about the part about one God exercising power and force over the rest?
And each cipher is a best knower. In every cipher. Okay?
I agree with that, but that's not what I'm saying. You got to listen to the question, God. I agree with that. I'm saying about one God over all. I ain't just dealing with different ciphers. I'm talking about that one God who is supreme over all. He's the best knower among all the gods of this planet.
Now, that's the teachings of the Nation of Islam, not in the 5%.
I'm asking you which one you subscribe to.
I subscribe to the 5%. What do you mean?
So you don't believe that it's one supreme over all?
I'm not saying.
But you just said that we are not God equally, but you don't believe that it's one supreme over all.
Ramel, go ahead and say a lot of father. Go ahead and say a lot of father. You know what I mean?
You want to hear something, you let me talk. If you want to hear something, you let me answer a question. As soon as I say two words, y'all interrupt me. I said, I'm not saying everybody go and interrupt me. I didn't get to say what I'm not saying. Like, be fair.
You dancing around that. You dancing around the God question, brother. You like tap dancing around it, God.
I can't get a sentence out without somebody laughing or interrupting me. I can't get a sentence out. So how could you even know what the hell I'm talking about if you won't let me talk?
You right, God. Go ahead and run.
Anybody putting the Father above nobody or Master Farad as far as that's concerned. The Supreme Mind who is our law, right? It manifests within the black man. The Supreme Black Man with knowledge of himself. Okay, now that could be you. It could be me. It could be him tomorrow. It could be him next year. It could be anybody. But I'm not saying that this guy is sitting around on a wheel on a space slip on a spaceship waiting to rain hell on the devil. That's the teachings of the messenger. That's the teachings of the Nation of Islam. That's not the teachings of the 5%. Did that answer your question, or should I go further?
Because I'm still now understanding what's your position. Because you saying that on one hand, you saying that we are not all God equally. And on the other hand, you're not saying who this supreme one among us is, but according to y'all, and when we say that Allah is the supreme being, is Allah, is Messenger Muhammad in the Nation of Islam, the supreme God in the 5% is Allah the Father, but you dancing around it.
The Father ain't here no more, so how could I say he's the supreme God?
Well, who's the supreme God in the 5% nation right now then? Since he's not here no more.
The supreme God is the Asiatic black man with knowledge of himself. That's the oneness of God.
That. We're not disagreeing with that. We talking about amongst the 5%ers. The 5% nation, who is that supreme one right now?
Who said there's one? Who said one? The 5% they teach that. The Nation of Islam teach that. That is one. Okay, now we are one. Those of us that are, we are one, but we are not just one person in the person of. You know what I'm saying? We got the mind of God is God, right? So when I see myself, I see in my Aya light. So we got brown seeds, we got black seeds, we got yellow seeds that's all connected. You know what I'm saying? This is the teachings of the 5%. We came in pairs and things like that. When we taught different than the Nation of Islam. That is one who we hold that name supreme of. And you think that we talking about the Father? And the Father been returned to the essence since 1969? We're not talking about worshiping no dead man or putting him above us. We said that man taught us that he was our big brother. Right? He said, you got a big brother named Allah. He would always say that. You got a big brother named Allah. He didn't want nobody worshiping him, no statues, none of that stuff, right? Brothers might go and do a birthday party or some celebration for him. He wasn't with none of that, like that. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, it's a difference between the way we give it up and the way y'all give it up. Now, everybody on this phone believes that Minister Farrakhan is the best example that we should follow, right? Should be our leader, right? Am I correct? Everybody on this phone besides me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's where we differ at. See, y'all can say y'all the 5%ers, but no other 5%ers think like that in the 5% nation. So, but in the Nation of Islam, mostly everybody thinks like that.
You making your hard point. You making it point. That's what we trying to get you to see, brother. You making it point.
Yeah, he's saying God Jabbar, he's saying it's all right for the Father to get epiphany and be like, you know, I understand the lessons and the teachings better than Farad. Farad ain't got he had the brung the knowledge. Elijah Muhammad brung the wisdom, but I got the understanding, and he go out and do it. But then when somebody rise up from his circle, you know what I mean, and they feel the same way, you know what I mean, they can't justify their existence and be like, well, I'm teaching this. You telling me they got to be pigeonholed by whatever the Father taught for the short amount of time. Like,
I'm glad you said that. Get this now. My response to that, right? Now, when you say you giving your understanding and you rising up and doing what he did, all you doing is going back to what he came from. You're not saying nothing new that he didn't hear. You're saying the same thing that the minister and everybody else in the Nation of Islam is saying. So what you're basically saying is all of y'all come back home to us because this is the way it's supposed to be. So you're taking it from the Father rising up and saying something, but now you're saying something that was already said that he rose up against. You're not saying nothing different.
That's how understanding go, God. That's how understanding go. If that's the understanding of my universe, then that's what it is. It don't have to be you labeling it the mosque or labeling it this. Like the Nation of Islam is just the Nation of Islam. It ain't no borders to it, or you saying that, God. Like, you know what I mean? If that's my understanding, if it's in like if you got an agreement that's in alignment with an elder or firstborn, it's just in alignment with it. You see what I'm saying? You don't say, yo, because the elder had that thought first, I'm going to abandon it and get a whole nother thought. Like, y'all thoughts just coincide. That's it.
So then what you're saying is you're the same thing as what he denounced or left, or when he came to the realization that he was the best knower of or had the understanding too. And
that's his understanding, God. That's his understanding. You the God of your own understanding.
But you're the God of the messengers understanding, right? And ministers understanding. The same understanding that he wasn't accepted saying his understanding way. So it's no three understandings that you both
Let me just make a quick point though. Like you just go back real quick to what you said. I know you got to get ready to go too, but just what you said earlier, I wanted to touch on that when you made the comparison between the father and Minister Farrakhan. I mean, I'm sure not everybody, not on this panel, but I'm just sure there's people out there who probably don't agree with everything Minister Farrakhan is saying. However, the
Sure.
difference is the years of experience. The minister's been at this since what? He got knowledge himself in the year what, 1955? Look how long the
That's
minister's
correct.
had knowledge, and look how long he's been walking and talking these teachings and living these teachings. So that's not a good comparison when you compare him to someone who's only had the knowledge for 5, 6 years, who was only among his nation, his baby nation, for like maybe 2.5, maybe 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of differences right there that has to be considered when you start comparing two figures like that. I just wanted to go back to that.
Okay, I don't know if you think Mr. Ferraro's amongst his nation for 1,000 years or 50 or 100, whatever years, okay? Because he spent a little bit of time. When the scientists drop a bomb, they don't sit around and wait for it to explode. They go elsewhere, right? So he planted the seed and left. The father planted the seed. He was assassinated. That's almost like saying the same thing. He wasn't around them holding their hands the whole time. He left the message after 3.5 years of teaching him and left him with studies that he could go deeper in, the same way the father left us with stuff to study so we could go deeper in. 3.5 years is what he spent with the messenger, approximately.
Right.
So the father spent more than that around us. When you said he was incarcerated, he was getting, brothers was coming up to the prison to see him when he was incarcerated. And it's like, oh, he was in jail most of that time. He had visitors that came up and they grew even more while he was in there than they did when he was out. We went in, it was hundreds. He came out, it was thousands. Because his sons was doing the teaching and they brought the word from Mattawan while he was incarcerated. So it's not about the limit of time you got around a person or the amount of time they have in these teachings. Some might understand more in 2 years than you did in 10. You can't put a time limit on another person's understanding. So you can say 6 little years, that ain't nothing. But in 6 little years, I might be able to accomplish more than half of the people that was in there for 40 and 50 years. Understanding is like that.
All right, hold on. We're talking about esoteric knowledge. We're talking about understanding these divine teachings. You, me, well, I don't know you, but I know people that have studied these lessons understand what it takes to become a master in them and to master yourselves after we've been denigrated and dehumanized for the last 379, almost 400 years, right? So it takes a lot more time than that. The father being around us for just a little 3-4 years, that's immaturely he began the 5 percenters. He began a nation of gods. Yeah, there was a nation of gods, but it's immature. He wasn't there to live out teaching us and giving us those examples. Some of those disagreements that he had with the messenger. He wasn't there to
Are we not
lead.
going in circles? Did I just say the same thing? And then I not just address this? Are we not saying the same thing?
I didn't hear you address that. What'd you say?
Yeah, he said that he could spend that little bit of time with them, but they was going up to the prison and building with him, and then they went out. By the time he came out of prison, it grew dramatically because of the tutelage he gave him while he was in prison. Like, so he was saying the time could be short, but they could still do great things in that short time. I believe that's what the guy was saying.
Not only that, I was talking about how Master Farrar spent 3.5 years.
I mean,
I also said how Master Farrar spent only 3.5, approximately only 3.5 years amongst the messenger, and then he left for him to still keep studying that which he left them with. So he never came back. He never held their hand. It was tutoring them all of the time that they were there.
Let me chime in on that, God. Let me chime in on that right quick, because I heard the God they son say the other day when we were building that you failed to recognize that Master Muhammad left the messenger a roadmap to study and to dig into what he had given him. He gave him a list of 104 books to go research and study at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. And even the Honorable Elijah Muhammad also said that, brother, it would take what he gave me really is just a wake-up message. He said he gave me enough wisdom to last me 40 years. He said it would take me 40 years to even understand my mission. And even when you study the original man, our ancient traditions, our ancient history, you will see that even these mystery schools and universities that we had, it took us 40 years to graduate these schools to attain a certain degree of our godhood. So it's
42
just like
years.
the Master Prophet Muhammad was growing him into a god.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
that's the point. That's the point what I make when I say prematurely. You're talking about when he was away in Madawan and look at how it grew. Did he do that? Did the father
They
make
got it
them
from
grow? Did
somewhere.
he do that? Was he out there teaching, making them grow, giving understanding?
No, he was in there
No.
teaching them. He was in there
Locked up.
teaching them.
So
He
he
was in there
wasn't
teaching
talking to
them.
he wasn't talking to no babies or anything when he was locked up. He was gone. So how is he teaching and expanding the nation and he's not even there? He's gone. So this is the reason why I say prematurely he gave us the knowledge of God. Prematurely meaning that we had to go back elsewhere to get the full scope of it, because even when he departed from us, he didn't leave nothing for us.
Who do you think was? See, I keep getting.
no, I think you're in a bad area, God. Your phone,
Nah,
you're
brother.
not
You
getting.
said the host has muted you. You want me to screenshot it and unmute me?
Nah, you good. I don't got you on mute right now. You good.
Yeah,
Man.
your
What
voice
do you think
going
was
in and
coming up?
out.
What do you think was
No,
coming
but
up
you
to
was
see
going
him?
in and out before, but I didn't say nothing because you was kind
Okay,
of finished.
all right,
But
no problem, no problem. That's the problem when you go on somebody's platform and they don't want you to speak. You can always
you gotta do
manipulate.
that, God, because
It
what I
says the
say is
host has
shock
muted you.
value.
Says,
What I say
Yeah,
is shock value. When I start attacking the mystery God, it's
you
like
put me on mute. You put me on mute, brother.
he trying to censor you, God. Yo, those censor the
right,
guy.
you know
Let
what
him
I'm
build.
saying?
Let him build,
Hey,
man. Let
but
Ramel build.
He put me on mute,
when I
brother.
start attacking the mystery God, it's like,
You
right,
put
you
me
know what I'm
on mute.
saying? So
You
Hey,
next,
know,
y'all better
I
Go
hurry up
know.
and
ahead, Ramel.
conclude
Go
this
ahead.
thing,
Speak,
because
Next time you
speak your
next
y'all
piece.
time
better
you
hurry
go,
up and conclude this this bill, because the baby playing about the land.
yeah.
Go ahead, Ramel. Go ahead, Bill. God.
Well, who do you think was coming up
yes,
to
sir.
see him in Matterwater if it wasn't babies? 13 years old, 16, 18. You telling me
True.
the people that came up, and then when he taught them, they brought the message back from Matterwater. Okay? So it wasn't like he wasn't teaching them when they was growing. That made this spread more because he was giving out the laws. When he said change for Muslim names, he was in Matterwater. It was June 25th, 1966. He gave that order to his sons that came up to see him, and they brought it to their brothers, and it spread like wildfire. Okay, so I don't know if you know that history, but it's a lot of history that you should learn about the father before you say what happened there. You know, because I know you're not an expert on it, and I know you ain't been around brothers who was around during that time like that.
Right. Yes. Sir. You know
I
what,
can
God? I
stand
think
on that.
y'all both saying points, like true points. Like what you saying in terms of how the father grew the nation while he was in Matt. That's true. But and it can't be minimized, but I think what Brother Fahiym is saying is true too. Like, because the difference is, even though the messenger only learned for 3 years, like, first of all, he learning from the very source of the lessons, like, who know the meanings of behind them directly. And he taught him night and day. Like, the father didn't teach the teens that night and day. Like, if you going on a visit, you got a limited amount of time. But the Elijah Muhammad Master Far literally from sun up to sundown, like constantly. And then, like he said, he was given a course of books to study at the Library of Congress and other books beyond that. So the messenger definitely studied and learned more than the father did in that same amount of time. Like, that can't be denied. But
Now,
you
just
know,
like the
they
father,
did grow. You're right though. The nation of gods and earths did grow, you know, when he came home from the firstborn, going out there from Mecca, and then teaching firstborns from Medina, and it spread. That's true, but
and
it
we
is a
grew even
different
more
level
now.
though.
He's not even around here. We grew even more now to different regions. All I'm saying is we grew even more today than if it was like, look, so he left us instructions too, just like the Master Farad left the messenger instructions, even though he only spent 3.5 years. He didn't just say you cut off now. He left them instructions and stuff to study too. It wasn't that, oh, that's it. He got assassinated. He know what he was doing when he planted the seed and told them which direction to go into. All they had to do was listen to what he said, and most of them turned out all right. A lot of them turned out all right. A lot of them didn't listen to what he said. A lot of them that did, those that did turned out okay.
Mm-hmm.
He left instructions. He didn't leave 104 books. He left instructions. He left things for them to study, just like the messenger got left stuff. So that 3.5 years, plus the time frame that it takes a person to come into understanding, it varies between the person. Depends on the person. Their childhood experiences and what they've been exposed to might allow them to understand and grasp it quicker than the next man. We can't judge everybody based on the same time frame, 6 years, 3 years, 4 years, 8 years. Otherwise, what would you say is the amount of time? Because Master Farrar had 42 years to study when he came. So we got to wait till we 42? Is that what you're saying? Because if you're going to put a number on it, then what's that number?
No, I think the point of what they're making is just saying that if you have more time, you're gonna gain more understanding and gain more ground. I think that's the point. Like both of y'all are saying truths, like you know what I mean. But if it's a comparison, then the messenger definitely received more than the father did for himself personally, and more than he gave his sons. You know what I mean? That can't be denied. Like you know what I mean.
Well, brothers, I got to get to work now. So I love to continue this. We got to continue this. I got to get
who you got it from to you, how long you and who you got it from. Like you mentioned, the messenger got it straight from Allah. You know what I'm saying?
Now he trying to censor you and make you be late for work, get you fired, try to get you fired from work too. God.
Who you say we got it? We say we got it from?
I know you got to give it a one.
Hold on. That last point you made. Let me just get that last point you made. Oh, he got it different because he got it from Allah. Who you think it is that we say we got it from? Allah.
Wait. What is it again?
All right. Peace to the gods. I got to get out of here.
Hey, Ramel, I love you, man. Even though you what do you call it? Revoking my citizenship. I still love you, God.
Nobody can do that but you. You can only deny yourself, bro. Nobody can deny you. But if you do something else, that's you. But peace to the brothers. I got to go.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Yeah, peace.